All right, these Catholic bishops, priests, and pastors have this to say about human dignity and American borders and illegal immigration. Let's listen to what they got to say. All right, so Cory Booker put an interesting X post out where he says, faith without works is dead. I don't normally go and get my spiritual advice from Cory Booker, but he's trotting out a bunch of priests and Catholic bishops here to tell you about the dignity of illegal immigrants and how they're being mistreated. And I want you to watch this video. I want to pay very close attention to the words that they say. And it's not necessarily the problem with the actual words coming out of their mouth. It's the intent behind them. And I want to discuss that in a minute. But first, let's take a look, watch the clip, play it.
As pastors, we, the bishops of the United States, are bound to our people by ties of communion and compassion in our Lord Jesus Christ. And we are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety around questions of profiling and immigration enforcement.
We are saddened by the state of contemporary debate and the vilification of immigrants. We are concerned about the conditions in detention centers and the lack of access to pastoral care.
We lament that some immigrants in the United States have arbitrarily lost their legal status. We are troubled by threats against the sanctity of houses of worship and the special nature of hospitals and schools.
We are grieved when we meet parents who fear being detained when taking their children to school, or when we try to console family members who have already been separated from their loved ones.
Despite obstacles and prejudices, generations of immigrants have made enormous contributions to the well-being of our nation. We as Catholic bishops love our country and pray for its peace and prosperity.
For this very reason, we feel compelled now in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity.
Okay, all right. Let me not go after the low-hanging fruit here, even though these guys, they look like every stereotypical bishop and priest. Like, you couldn't write the script, okay? But besides that, with all due respect to the bishops, there's a basic truth that you can't reword or rebrand or moralize away. Illegal immigration is illegal. Compassion, no matter how much of it you have, does not erase the law. Spiritual authority does not grant anyone the right to rewrite the definitions of a sovereign nation. Listen, America has borders for the same reason every country has borders. I'm talking slow for you, bishops. Hey guys, we'll get back to the program in just a moment, but are you watching the dollar lose value every day? Inflation, debt, uncertainty, they are eroding everything you've worked for. That's why smart Americans are turning to Birch Gold Group. With Birch Gold, you can convert your IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver, that retirement plan backed by physical metals. Real assets that you can know and trust are there waiting for your future. Don't wait for the next financial crash to wake up. Protect your savings today with Birch Gold. Text CHAD, I spell it Chad, to 989898. Get that free no obligation information kit to know how you can protect your future. Text CHAD to 989898. Every nation the Catholic hierarchy calls home has borders. The Vatican has walls that stretch high above the streets of Rome. They've got guarded checkpoints, armed security. Listen, those policies, they're not called unchristian when Rome enforces them. They're simply common sense, right? Because it'd be dangerous to let just anyone in there. And trust me, I know from experience, I've been there myself. Now, before lecturing Americans about legal standards, perhaps it would be wise for these bishops to look inward first. The Catholic Church is still digging out from generations of internal crisis, scandal, and moral failure that has devastated families worldwide. So don't preach to me about how the enforcement of our laws against illegal immigration has hurt families. You've let these issues within the Catholic Church go unresolved for decades. And many of the victims still feel unheard. So if these bishops want to speak boldly about justice and integrity and dignity and protection of the vulnerable, there's no shortage of work to be done within their own walls. And yeah, I said walls. No one denies the biblical call to show mercy. But mercy does not mean erasing national laws. It does not mean encouraging policies that endanger Americans themselves and strain communities, overwhelm social systems, and incentivize more dangerous crossings. Christians care deeply about human dignity, and while insisting that immigration be orderly, lawful, and fair to those who stand in line, follow the process and respect the sovereignty of the nation they hope to enter. So listen to me, Bishop. The church, in short, does not get to redefine legal immigration in the United States. Now, these same guys would tell you about the separation of church and state real fast. But they sure do want access to those prisoners, don't they? Yeah, we care so much about their access to pastoral care. Well, they wouldn't be prisoned maybe if you'd have given them the pastoral care before they got there. And let me tell you something, to those who are entrusted with the so-called spiritual leadership, and they want to start getting on their pedestal and their soapbox and preaching, they need to be very careful not to substitute political activism for real pastoral responsibility. The border crisis is a humanitarian issue, but it's also a legal issue, it's a security issue, and it's a national concern that requires honesty instead of posturing. And this is posturing. America is allowed to have borders just like the Vatican does, and Americans are allowed to expect their laws to be respected. So I'd say to every one of these bishops that you either need to put up or shut up. You take care of the flock that's been entrusted to you and do that properly instead of trying to import more in that you cannot handle and haven't handled. Because I guarantee you, none of these so-called illegals are living with them. They're not living with them. They haven't opened up the doors of the parsonage to allow illegals to come and move into the bedrooms and every nook and cranny to live in there with them. They're not doing it. So again, the hypocrisy is tangible. The hypocrisy is threatening to true American lives. There is a path to citizenship, and you need to counsel people in ways to take it. And by the way, you need to mind yourself when it comes to where these donations have gone to certain, quote, charities that have been money laundering services in organizations for a long time, where tens upon tens, and if not hundreds of millions of dollars have been taken away from the people that they were donated to care for. So save all of your posturing and your preaching for somebody else. It doesn't work here. We have laws and legal borders for a purpose, and you know it. And you know what, Cory Booker? Just stop. Just stop. I love y'all. God bless you. Make sure you subscribe and tuning into the Chad Prather Show as well as Before the Noise each day on these channels. You know what? You got to actually log in to do that. It's like there's a border there. You got to cross in so you can subscribe and do all those kind of things. So just do the legal deal, right? Maybe some of these bishops will log in and actually learn something about the Bible from a dude in a cowboy hat. Wouldn't that be fun? All right. Talk to you guys next time. Love you. God bless. Bye.